you simply like to fly? Is it because it's very fast? Then do you? Is it because I would like to know the best way to travel is by plane? Is it because the plane is affordable? Sorry?
Try again this.
Yeah, so what I want to know is why is it because you think that traveling by plane is the best way to travel? What reason why? Why is traveling by plane the best way to travel, in your opinion?
I think the best way to travel is like it's very fast, very comfortable. Go somewhere to go from. So I can use very expensive.
Okay. Here, can you adjust your microphone to make it any louder? Is there any way you can turn your microphone up so the volume is louder, or can you speak louder, please?
And teacher, I retreat again.
Okay, thank you.
In my opinion, the best way to travel is by plane because plane is really comfortable. To travel the place from the place, travel the country from the country, go to the country. Plane is really expensive for some people. In my opinion, it's very fast, very best.
Okay. What you told me is that the plane is comfortable and it's very fast. In some cases, it's very expensive for people, but it allows you to travel from country to country easily. Okay. So those are good examples of adjectives, description as to why you like to travel by plane. So when you tell me an answer to a question, I want to know why. What is the reason why you feel the way you feel? So very good answer. Thank you very much. We'll move on to number 3. And if you can also please try to speak as loudly as possible when you're replying to me, because I'm having just a little difficulty to hear you.
Teacher.
Okay, thank you. So question 3, if you were going on a long trip, who would you prefer to go with?
if I going on a long trip, I like my family or my parents to go with me because I have a little bit of money and my parents are supporting me money to the idea and everything of my life.
Okay, so you're telling me that if you go on a long trip, you would like to have your cousin,
My family, my parents,
your cousin. Is that right? Oh, your parents. Okay.
plus my cousin.
And you would like to have your parents travel with you because
They are supporting me everything.
they support you
Supporting me about everything, such as money, idea, and for something is make something is help me comfortable.
Okay. So they support me with everything. They help me with money. They support my decisions and help with my ideas. What else?
Yes.
Okay. So what I wrote, because I can understand what you're saying and it makes sense to me, but I want for you to learn the correct grammatical structure. So if I'm going on a long trip, I would like to have my family, and I think even more specifically, I would say if I am going on a long trip, I would like to have my family with me. And the reason why I would like my family with me is, and then you will say, they support me with everything. They help me with money. They support my decisions and help with my ideas. If I am going on a long trip, I would like to have my family with me. Okay, so that's very good. And what we're looking for here is a correct organization of sentence structure, because one of the fundamental components of IELTS is grammar, correct use of grammar. and lexical resource. So when you're taking the IELTS test, they're looking for how well you use English language in correct sentence structure. In other words, how well grammatically do you speak English language? Okay? And that's why I'm giving you an idea for how to organize your sentence structure so that it sounds more natural to a native English speaking person. So we'll move on to question number 4. And question number 4, I would like to know, what do you think are some of the benefits of traveling? What are some of the benefits that someone such as yourself obtains by traveling? What do you get out of traveling?
I believe the traveling is very advantageous.
Yes.
I believe traveling is very advantageous. I think travel is helps some people who is fell down is happy and improve your idea to well done and can I read again?
Yes, please.
In my opinion, I think traveling is very advantageous because travel to make somebody is fell down or unhappy to happy. Travel like education to make traveler or visitor to know everything and to see something is more than in the classroom or the home.
Okay. So I'm just going to rewrite what you said. And the first thing that you said, traveling is very advantage. The correct use of the word is to say traveling is very advantageous. So if something is an advantage, and I'm using that in a sentence as in traveling benefits me, I would say that traveling is very advantageous, okay? And then you mentioned to me that travel can help someone go from happy or from sad to happy. So the way that I would say that is travel will help to improve one's attitude and give a positive outlook. So in common English language, if someone is sad, we would say that they have a poor attitude, or if they have a negative outlook, their attitude is not positive. So a nice way to say what you said that makes sense to a common English-speaking person would be to say, travel will help to improve one's attitude and give a positive outlook. Okay? And then I think you were saying that travel is a good form of education, where you can learn things directly outside of the classroom. So travel is a great way to learn subjects practically rather than theoretically, as in the classroom. So, for example, as a traveler, I have traveled to many countries around the world, and I find that, practically speaking, what I learn from the people that I meet is very oftentimes different than what I read in the textbook. So my practical experience is sometimes very different than what I learn in theory from the textbook. There's a saying in English language, travel is the best education. Because you get to learn things directly from your environment. Would you take a moment, please, to read back to me the responses that I wrote for you so that you can practice the correct grammatical structure to the questions that were asked in part 1, starting with, if I am going on a long trip. Are you able to view what I wrote for you? Okay, can you please read starting with, if I am going on a long trip? Are you able to see what I wrote in the chat?
If I'm going on a long trip, I would like to have my family going with me, because I believe them are supporting me and help me with money and support my decisions and help about my ideas.
Okay, Pear, can you see what I wrote in the chat bar? Are you able to see the chat bar? Can you see what I wrote?
Yes, I can see.
Okay, can you read that to me?
Okay.
Okay, just go ahead and read that for me, please.
If I going on a long trip, I would like to have my family with me. And the reason why I would like my family with me is that supports me with everything, that help me with money, that supports my decision and help with my ideas.
Okay, and then can you read from traveling is very advantageous?
Traveling is very advantageous. Travel will help to improve one's attitude and give a positive outlook. Travel is a good form of education where you can learn things directly. Travel is a best way to learn subjects practically rather than theoretically, as in my classroom. Travel is the best education.
Okay, thank you, Per. Can you see the difference between how I wrote the sentence structure and how you replied? You're saying basically the same thing, but the organization of the sentences are in correct grammatical form. Can you see the difference between what you said and how I wrote your response to be? Are you able to see the differences? For example, using the word advantage or using the word advantageous. Does that make sense to you? Sorry?
Can you more explain again? I don't understand.
So, based on the questions from part 1 and your answers talking about traveling and what you think, for example, you think it's nice to travel by plane and the reasons why it's nice to travel by plane. You mentioned to me that it's nice to you traveled to China. Traveled to China last year. So what I am trying to communicate to you is the correct sentence structure to use when replying to these types of questions. So is that clear for you, what I have written here?